everyone, and welcome to another great episode of the Data Standard Audio Experience. My name is Catherine Tao, and today we have E. Lee, a senior data scientist from Prism. And today we're going to be speaking about some of the best practices when presenting to different stakeholders of a company. So welcome to the show, E. I'm very excited to speak with you and just learn more about speaking to different stakeholders and kind of how to present to them. So welcome to the show.
Hi, Catherine. Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, and thank you for coming onto the show. So can you just tell us more about yourself and just tell us more about your background?
Sure. My career path has been focusing on analytics and predictive modeling ever since I came out of school with a master's degree in statistics. So my current company, Prism, short for Public Risk Innovation Solutions and Management, is an insurance risk sharing pool, and we basically provide secure and flexible risk coverage programs to mainly California public entities. So here at Prism, I work closely with actuaries implementing data science to actuarial studies like loss development projections and case reserving. I also collaborate with operations teams creating analytics solutions to basically improve operational efficiency. So prior to Prism, I worked in multiple related industries, including pharmaceutical industries where I led oncology, clinical trial data analysis, and also healthcare industry, where I pretty much hit all the aspects from fraud detection to call center optimization. And then a fun fact about me, I want to say is that I also have a degree in psychology, which I think really helps with my empathetic listening to learn what problems my stakeholders are trying to tackle, rather than just providing technical solutions or proving how smart I am. So yeah, my work basically involves both day-to-day hands-on experience with data and also consistent or like frequent communications with different stakeholders.
That's great. And it's great that you have more of a balanced background too with your psychology degree, just to know, think about the people that you're really working with and how to handle different situations. So that's great.
Yep.
And there's a lot of different ways to kind of speak to stakeholders and present to them. So who are some of the different stakeholders that you usually have to present to in a business setting?
Yes. So basically, my stakeholders usually fall into four primary buckets. So the first one being our board members. So I want to say this is a really unique group of stakeholders to Prism. We are a member-directed risk pool, primarily for public entities like schools or counties in California. So on a basically monthly basis, we hold committee meetings to update our board members about the most recent analysis results and also to get them involved in the governance and decision-making process. So I want to say they are probably one of the most important stakeholders for me. And then the second stakeholder group of mine is the executive leadership. So for the data science team, we need to make sure that our data analytics is aligning with the executive's bigger corporate strategy. So the second, I want to say that again. That should be the third, sorry. So the third stakeholder is my business operations partners. So for example, claim operations team. Usually they are not as tech savvy, I want to say, but they have very rich business expertise and also domain knowledge. So usually they have a pretty good idea about what aspects of the business that we can make improvement on. So last group is the IT and data architect team. I want to say that they are both our stakeholders and partners. So we work together to build the delivery pipelines that can basically empower the business decision-making process. So these are the four kind of buckets of stakeholders for me.
That's great. And so it's clear that you speak to a lot of different people of different backgrounds. You're kind of it's kind of a cross-functional team that you're really speaking to.
Yes.
And it's important to be able to translate these findings of what you're trying to explain in your presentations to everybody. And so what is the process like before you actually present? How do you prepare for these presentations for everybody to understand?
Yeah, that's a good question. I want to say first and foremost, even before I really start my preparation, I make sure that I know my audience and the goal of this presentation. To illustrate with several examples for technical people, I think it's okay to basically talk about terms and jargons, or sometimes even my programming code. I actually find that sometimes it's necessary to do this so that they can get a better sense of what you are doing and how much they can help. However, for less tech savvy people, to me, I think a very high level methodology is basically sufficient enough. When it comes to the goals, for example, if my presentation is to communicate my analysis findings with the operations team, then I would definitely make the results more actionable and also bring the business impact to the table as well. So to summarize overall, I think the general rule of thumb is to emphasize the business values and also punctuate your analysis with data, but in a very concise way. So also, I would definitely prepare to explain some of the technical concepts in plain English or just using simple examples. So moving forward, another helpful preparation tip is to send over your outlines prior to the presentation. So basically, it can include bullet points about what you are going to present and the key conclusions and also takeaways. So the last one I want to say from the technical perspective, make sure your code or your prototype is working properly. So, definitely don't want let Murphy's Law hurt your presentations. And sometimes anything can just go wrong. So I want to say, yeah, so these are the bullet points, all the actions I would take before the presentation.
Yeah, this is great ways for you to even to prepare before actually speaking and presenting to everybody. And so what are some of the best practices for presenting to specifically executive leaders?
Yes, another good question. So I would say when pitching an analytics idea to the executives, I would first take the initiative to identify what actually motivates them and how much our data analytics can impact their goals. So once I understand the entire whole puzzle, I would set clear project plans as well as the execution pipelines. And then the next important factor is the business performance metrics, which oftentimes is different from the model evaluation metrics that we use to build the model itself. So for example, rather than presenting your model accuracy or how low your error rate is, I would definitely summarize the potential, financial savings this predictive model can bring to the table. And that is what's basically motivating them to actually buy in. So again, to me, I think focusing on what my executives care the most is very important. And then once I've made some progresses during this model development process, I would showcase a working prototype. So again, depending on the specific projects, it can be as simple as visualizations summarizing my findings, or it can be a predictive model with, for example, variable interpretations. So here, I really want to stress the importance of explainable machine learning, where as data scientists, we need to basically present the driving factors used by the model from the business point of view, not just showing them the black box algorithm or just a model, right? So by doing this, I think we can basically avoid this black box algorithm that could scare everyone and also increase the likelihood of getting buy-in from the leadership. And then to me, last but certainly not least, is that during the process, as data scientists, we need to frequently and consistently collect feedback or comments from our executives. And also the other important piece of that is to just manage their expectations. So it can be just simply telling them that we don't overhype the project. And we also need to educate them that data science project is more like iterative experiments. So we need to make sure that they know nothing is perfect the first time around, and data science journey is no exception. So I want to say by keeping them in this loop will definitely help build a culture of trust in the long run. As for the last tip I want to share is always put your backup materials or your technical supporting documents in the appendix, just in case that they are interested in learning more about your technical aspect of the model.
Yeah, and I think that's great explanation that you just gave us. Yeah, and I think sorry. Can you also tell us about an experience that you've had with a presentation from work, just a specific example?
Sure, yeah. I can give an example of me presenting an NLP-based claims report summarization tool in one of our committee meetings. So basically, this NLP tool is designed to generate key summaries of claims reports so that our claims examiners can focus their attention on the most important information, and thus it can save their effort and time. So first, my strategy is to introduce the concept of NLP, natural language processing, to my audience, basically with different technical levels. So in order to do that, I started with a word cloud visualization showing the frequency of words and phrases in the meeting agenda. So this actually successfully captured their attention. And then to introduce the project in a very high level fashion, I utilized a project management quad chart, which includes business challenges, project goals, obstacles, and our analytics solution. So by looking at this quad chart, my audience could quickly understand the project goal being leveraging analytics to improve operational efficiency. So that's very simple for them. And then it came to the, I want to say, most exciting part, where I presented the version 1 prototype. I basically showed the user interface of a sample report with and then without the summarizer implemented in the backend. So with the summarizer, my audience could immediately capture the key information because they were already highlighted, and also they were able to get through the shortened summary in pretty much no time. So yeah, I want to say we received very, very positive feedback from our audience. and they think that the presentation was very engaging. And to our team, it's very important because it's a kind of stepping stone when it comes to really building a data science culture. So this actually ties to what we just discussed through this podcast. That is knowing your audience and tailoring your presentations accordingly. So I think, yeah, so this presentation basically gave my quote unquote non-technical audience a flavor of how this NLP-based tool could help improve claim processing efficiency.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you also mentioned that you need to have the end goal in mind and be able to explain everything to people who might not have as much as a technical background. So great insight there. And so many great tips that you brought to us in order to present to everybody on your team. So thank you so much for being on our show and speaking about that today with us, E. And we at the Data Standard, we at the Data Standard, we're trying to build a community of data enthusiasts and data thought leaders so that everybody has a place where they can network and collaborate with each other. So what is something that we can do for you?
Yeah, so actually I have been enjoying this podcast very much. And to me, I think getting to know how professionals from different industries leveraging data science is really crucial to stay up to date, especially on the latest innovation and development in this field. And in addition, for data science newcomers or enthusiasts, they will really find the broad range of the topics very inspiring and beneficial, I think. So yeah, I really appreciate your and team's effort in building such a great community. I just want to say that keep up the good work. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And where can everybody find you online?
Yes, I have a LinkedIn page at Ely, and also am very active on Medium, where I share the data science trends and my tips and tricks about programming. So yeah, you're welcome to follow me on Medium at Ely as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And to our audience, for more information on the Data Standard, you can find us at www.datastandard.io, as well as our YouTube page and our LinkedIn page as well. And to our audience, this episode is also sponsored by Pandio. They're innovating the tech space with their Apache Pulsar messaging system in order to help companies be more data-driven with their streamline of data. So learn more about their work at pandio.com. And thank you so much, E, for joining us. So great to speak with you and learn more about presentations to different stakeholders on the team. And so thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, I think this podcast went great. Do you have any questions that you'd like us to re-record or an additional question you'd like us to kind of address in the process?
No, I think overall it's good.
Okay.
So what do you think my pace or the way how I talk or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually really liked your answers because I thought they were very concise and just very straight to the point. And I think it was very thorough at the same time. So I think
That's
it was
good.
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will stop recording.